All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to talk about some things Joe Burrow had to say regarding a couple of his teammates in T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson. So these are two guys that are looking for new contracts. I know I really haven't talked about Trey Hendrickson. He's on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, these are two guys looking for new contracts. And this is what Joe Burrow had to say. He said, "Those guys have their business they need to take care of. I support them in every way." This is what he told the Cincinnati media. "Both those guys have earned everything that has come to them and more. I'll support them all the way through it. Whatever they feel like is best for their career, that's for them and their agents and their families to decide. But we are here to win football games. I really hope both those guys are here next year because we are a better football team with both of them," which is true. "They are both great locker room guys, too. They are going to do what they've got to do. But when the time comes for them to come back, if that time comes, we are going to welcome them back and hit our stride." Sorry, I was holding back a sneeze. Listen, I've been good lately, but yeah, I was holding back a sneeze there. So I apologize for that. But yeah, believe me, I wasn't getting all teary-eyed over Joe Burrow talking up his teammates. That was just me holding back a sneeze. But yeah, so did say a lot there. And listen, I do agree with what he had to say, and that just goes to show you the kind of teammate that Joe Burrow is. Not only is he a great quarterback on the field, he's a great quarterback off the field, which, in terms of just supporting your teammates and backing them up. Joe Burrow, I think, is one of the classy guys, one of the more classier guys in the NFL. I know people, I don't know, people are just always annoyed. Like, when the media is focusing on Burrow and his run to the Super Bowl, they're annoyed with him. Now they're annoyed with Mahomes because, now it's just we can't get rid of Mahomes. But it's just, can we just, enjoy these guys while they're playing? I mean, these are some of the best athletes that we've ever seen. And we just like to nitpick, they're showing Joe Burrow's, him walking into the stadium in his outfit. It's annoying. You know what? How about this? You log off of social media. How about that? You just log off the computer, log out of your account, delete the app, and don't even look at social media. It's a simple fix. But a lot of people are addicted to social media, like myself. So, but I mean, it's just it's annoying when you have people just constantly complaining about things, because that's all we do. I know in baseball, so the Pirates, they called up one of their top pitching prospects, and he's dating Livy Dunn, who went to LSU, and MLB posted them going to Pittsburgh, and one of the comments was like, "This better not be another Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift thing." And it's just, then don't look at the post. Just like I said, log out of your account. Again, went off on a tangent there. But anyway, it's just people just complain. It's annoying. But anyways, back to, sorry, went off on, again, like I said, went off on a tangent there. But anyways, so yeah, T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson, two important pieces to the Bengals. And it looks like, well, T. Higgins is definitely on his way to being traded at some point. It might not be this year. It looks like it's going to probably happen after the season. And yeah, because the Bengals did go out and draft a receiver, and they got to pay Jamar Chase. So yeah, it looks like T. Higgins is probably the odd man out. And Trey Hendrickson's been a productive player for them as well on the defensive side of the ball. This Bengals defense, they were a part of them going to the Super Bowl. I mean, look at the turnovers off of Patrick Mahomes in the championship game, back not the year that Mahomes went to the Super Bowl when they beat him, but the year before that. This Bengals defense, pretty good, and he's a part of that. He's made the Pro Bowl each of the last 3 seasons, Trey Hendrickson. 39.5 sacks as a Bengal since he joined the team in 2021. He was with the Saints for 4 years. Last year was his best yet with 17.5 sacks. So, I mean, he's been a productive player for them. And T. Higgins as well on the offensive side of the ball. You don't want to lose these two guys. But it could happen. I mean, Trey Hendrickson, maybe he gets traded before the year starts. I don't know. But, yeah, he's looking for a contract extension. So we'll see if there's some kind of holdout, or if the Bengals decide, you know what? Yeah, we might just trade you if we can't really come to an agreement. But I mean, for me, I've been pretty consistent with my take on the Bengals. If they're healthy, they're going to be one of the best teams. They are. Specifically because of that quarterback. And it seems like he's ready to go. And, you hope so, because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And there was a quarterback rankings that came out, and they had Burrow, I don't know if it was either 8 or 9. The 8th or 9th best quarterback in the NFL. Now, I don't know what they're basing that off of, whether it's, off of their previous season, or I don't know how they made those rankings, but Joe Burrow is not a bottom, he's not at the bottom of the top 10. He's in the top 5. If he's healthy, I might put him at 2, honestly. Now, there are other quarterbacks that, I think 2 might be a little too high for him, but I might put him there. Ahead of Lamar Jackson, ahead of Josh Allen, ahead of C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert. I mean, Dak Prescott, they had it I think they had him at 4 in this ranking. I think we'll have to take a look at it next week, because we gotta change those rankings. But Dak, and no offense to Dak is coming off of a really good year, and Lamar Jackson won the MVP, but also Jalen Hurts as well. Throw him in there. I know people are not that high on Hurts after the season he had, but I think he's still top 10. But yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow at 8, I think either 8 or 9, whatever it was. You got to put him higher. Now, I think, there's quarterbacks that have more talent. Like I said, Josh Allen, I think, is more talented. Lamar Jackson, well, Joe Burrow as a passer is better than Lamar Jackson, but in terms of just a playmaker, Lamar Jackson, you would pick him. But I think Joe Burrow, I would take him over Josh Allen, and I would take him over Lamar Jackson. A healthy Joe Burrow, I would do that. And honestly, I think Justin Herbert's more talented than Joe Burrow. But you know what? Joe Burrow plays the position better, and Joe Burrow has won more playoff games than Justin Herbert. And Herbert's had a lot of criticism too, and he's got to do something. And hopefully he's got the right coach in place now. But, he was a part of that 27-0 collapse that they had in the playoffs against Trevor. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Trevor Lawrence too. Well, Trevor Lawrence is going to have to bounce back too, because I know, there's people out there that are doubting him as well. So, but yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow is in the top 5. At least, I know I said I might put him at 2, but yeah, he's at least. I think most of us can agree that Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Can we agree on that? But but that's me. But I think most people would agree with that. So, but listen, his teammates Hendrickson and Higgins, I mean, they're going to be a big part of this team if they're here for 2024. I mean, T. Higgins will be, Trey Hendrickson. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's the same deal where, they keep him at least this year and then they move off of him the following year. So let's see if there's any updates on Trey Hendrickson. So I see something from 2 days ago. Well, because Trey Hendrickson also did request a trade as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing really. I don't really see anything. It's more of just what we're talking about here is Joe Burrow just backing them up, saying that they deserve to get paid. So, um, you know, we'll have to keep an eye on it, and if something does eventually happen, we will talk about it. We will definitely talk about it. But let me know what you guys think about the Bengals stuff that we discussed. How do you see all that playing out? And what are your expectations for the Bengals going into next year? Because I mean, if they're healthy, they're going to be one of the best teams. They are, and they played like that before Burrow got hurt, and then unfortunately he did. Well, I mean, he was hurt with the calf, but then the wrist injury happened, and that derailed their whole season. So, but I think they're going to be one of the best teams. It's going to be between them and the Ravens, I think, for the AFC North, which is the best division in football. I mean, we talked about both North divisions. We've been talking about them a lot, and we should, because those are the two best divisions in football. Now, the AFC North is the best one, but because because like from top to bottom, like every team, it could make the playoffs. Like you go to both like East divisions, like I can't really make the argument for the Patriots to make the playoffs or the Giants and the Commanders. Then you go to both South divisions. You got the Panthers, and then you could maybe make the argument that each team in the AFC South can make the playoffs, but I don't think the Panthers are. And then in the West, yeah, I mean the Broncos. No, I don't see them making the playoffs, and the Cardinals don't see it. But I mean, with the AFC South, I mean, I think each team, they have some sort of shot. I mean, well, the Texans are the favorites. Then you got the Colts, who barely missed out. The Jaguars barely missed out, even though they collapsed. And then the Titans, I think, got better, but I don't really see them making it. But I think they have. I mean, they're probably going to. I think they'll finish last in the division, but they're probably the best last place team amongst all the divisions I just mentioned. So maybe but that's because they play in. Actually, no, I should not say that, because then you got the two. All right, outside of the North divisions, they are the best last place team. So I don't know. That's kind of a silly statement, but I don't know. I mean, if Will Levis plays really well, they got a shot. That's all I'm saying. So I don't know. You can call me nuts for saying that, but I don't know. I mean, because look, I mean, they are trying to put him in a good situation. So I don't know. I probably just confused everybody with what I was saying, but let's just, that really didn't make any sense. But yeah, I mean, the two North divisions, though, are the best divisions in football. That's really what I was trying to say. And if Joe Burrow and the Bengals are healthy, they it's gonna be a lot of fun when they play the Ravens, and especially with the Ravens now getting Derrick Henry, so it's gonna be a lot of fun watching that division. So, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. How do you see the Bengals performing next year? And do you think that they'll be able to keep both T. Higgins and Trey Hendrickson, or do you think those guys are they're gone? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, thanks to Manny and Emran for joining the show today. Make sure to go check out their shows as well. With Manny on the Chip Shot Football Podcast and Emran on the GSMC Soccer Podcast. Again, we're all going to be making appearances on each other's shows, hopefully. And like I said, not just us, but like you can go back to other shows too. I know yesterday I was tuning into a couple shows tuned into the basketball podcast. We had Nelson and Eric on, and I was watching that. So I was making some comments, making my presence felt on that show yesterday in the comments. But yeah, make sure to tune in or check that out yesterday. Also, on TJ's show, the sports podcast, they really had a panel of guests. It was 3 other people. You had Jeremy from the other sports podcast. You had Sam from the baseball podcast, and Garrison, who is new. He does the golf and hockey podcast. So TJ had them on yesterday. And then this morning on the Andrew Tate show, you had Tommy, who does the college football podcast, and Samantha from the women's sports podcast, Hoops and Heels it's called. But they were on the Andrew Tate show this morning. Now, again, I just want to say this. It's not the Andrew Tate that you're thinking of. It's a separate, completely different person. You know, he's the one that makes all this possible on the GSMC Sports Network. So it's not the Andrew Tate you're thinking of. It's a different Andrew Tate, because I saw a comment. I've seen several comments on our videos, and you know, I'm saying to myself, can you watch the video? Can you watch the show? And then you'll know, like, oh, it's a different. But listen, people have this. There are people out there that have the same names. Okay, it's not. You know, I'm just whatever. But yeah, so make sure to check out those shows. Make sure to check out everybody's shows because you know, everybody does a good job. And like I said, I mean, there's still, you know, newer people coming on, and you'll be seeing newer faces in the coming weeks, coming months. And yeah, so make sure to give the other shows some love as well. But yeah, go check out those shows. And make sure to check out all the shows today as well. And also, I just want to remind you guys again that we're going to be starting 5 segments now for the foreseeable future next week. So the show will still be an hour, but the segments will be shorter. They'll be 12 minutes. Now, I kind of had to cut the second segment a little bit short because we were on a time constraint. But yeah. And also, again, I apologize for starting a little bit late because, it was stressful trying to set everything up to have 2 people on the show. Because how we do it is, you know, we connected through Zoom, and, like, you know, it's a whole process, and it's easy, but it was giving me an issue, and I was like, all right, we got to, you know, get this show on the road here. But we were able to, it worked out. Everything went well. Like I said, I went and listened back while we were in break just to make sure that, you know, it sounded good, and it did. So, again, if you missed Manny and Emran on earlier today, make sure to go check that out. I'll have all the segments reposted later in the day. So, yeah, but that's pretty much it from me for today. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Be back again on Monday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. New format, slightly new format with the 5th segment now added. So until then. I'm your host, Kenneth Gruenfelder, signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, enjoy the weekend, and I will see you guys on Monday. Take care.